Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is welcome everybody. This is the regular meeting of the Leonard Village Council. Today is September 13th, 2021, Monday, as usual. I'd like to welcome everybody. Be sure as we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll bear in mind all of those that the anniversary of 9/11 and keep that in our hearts as we make the pledge, and then we'll have a brief invocation. So if I ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with us. Bless this meeting, bless the council persons, and guide the decisions that they make, and may they be in the best interest of this community. In your name we pray, amen. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, we'll have a roll call now for attendance of the village council members.
President McDonald.
Here.
Mrs. Sotheby.
Here.
Mrs. Arundel.
Here.
Mrs. Swack. Here. Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
And we'll note for the record that both Clerk Gloria Zelnat and Treasurer Judy Burst are present. Council has received the minutes of our regular August 9th meeting. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections to those minutes? If none, or if some, please let us know. Otherwise, a motion to approve them would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 9th meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And excuse me tonight, but I'm going to check with our new village clerk to make sure that she's got everything she needs as we move from item to item. So, okay. So we have Alex Kennedy, Trustee Kennedy, and Trustee Sotheby for the second.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of approval of the motion to approve the agenda for August, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay. All right. Moving on, council has received a tentative agenda. I would ask the council's indulgence. I failed to list actually the action on the Black Ranch program as one of the new business items, which would be to reallocate money from one program to another. And then also we received a request to pass a resolution supporting National Recovery and Suicide Month for September. So I would ask to add that as well. If there are no other changes or corrections, motion to approve the agenda as amended would be in order.
I so move.
I'll second.
Or Alex. Okay. Motion by Trustee Sotheby, second by Trustee Kennedy to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay. Moving on then, council received the treasurer's report. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve the report would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
Motion by Trustee Kennedy, second by Trustee Swack to approve the treasurer's report as tendered. Any questions? If none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Sotheby.
Yes.
Mrs. Swack.
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
President McDonald.
Yes. Okay, motion carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is to pay the bills for August in the amounts shown. Are there any questions, changes, corrections regarding those accounts payable? If none, a motion to pay the bills for August would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $8,620.13 for general, $17.58 for major, nothing for local, and $85 for Mill Park recreation.
I'd like to second that motion as stated by Alex. Mr. Kennedy.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Kennedy, second by Trustee Arundel, to approve paying the bills for August in the amounts stipulated. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote to pay the bills, please.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried to pay the bills. Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment. This is an opportunity for the public, our residents and non-residents, to address the village council. We do have some guidelines. We ask that you speak for 3 minutes, that you speak on a particular topic, and that you're aware that's relevant to the village, and that I'm forgetting something unusual. And you will have an opportunity to address agenda items as they are brought forward in the action part of the meeting. So does anybody care to address the village council? Yes.
I just had a question. I was told by somebody
Well,
that...
we're here to listen.
Okay. I was told by somebody that the village got like $42,809 from stimulus. Did I miss a meeting where, did we really get that? And what are we doing with it? Or did I miss a meeting where you decided that? Or I was just curious.
It's a matter of public information. The village is qualified for $42,809. That money has not been released by the Treasury yet for the purposes for which it's allocated, which is to make up lost revenues due to COVID and to be used for certain public works projects. So
So you don't have it yet?
we don't have it.
Okay, so this could take a while.
Okay. Anybody else care to address the council?
I do. I would like to. I have a question about the town hall, the barbershop sign that's in front, that there's been kind of political signs and notes going up there. And I feel that the corner there represents our village, and it says Village Crier on it. And I think that our village should somehow take a stand in maybe just making that the word Village Crier come down, so it doesn't represent the village's opinion, or the village's stance, or the village's overall impression. So, I don't know.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody else care to address the council? I see.
No, Mike.
Okay, just asking. All right. Okay, we'll close public comment.
I don't.
Public comment now, and move on to the first item of business, which is the Village of Leonard has, the council has published a notice for public meeting regarding our block grant funds. We are talking about reallocating the funds from one program to another. The amount of funds in question is up to $5,000, and that is currently located in the removing architectural barriers account. and we're looking at transferring some or all of it to the minor home repair program. So at this time, I'm going to ask the council for a motion to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting, at which time only those wishing to speak about the reallocation of monies and what program it should go to are the only topics that we can take comments on. So is there a motion now then to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting for the block grant reallocation hearing?
I so move.
Okay.
second.
A motion by Trustee Sotheby, second by Trustee Arundel to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting for block grant reallocation. If there are no questions, could we have a roll call on closing the regular meeting?
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Okay. So at this time, the village council will hear comments from the public regarding the desire of the village to reallocate the money from one program to another. What we have discussed publicly is that it would be, we need money in minor home repair to help local residents that need help. The money that is currently in removing architectural barriers is not sufficient enough to do all of the work or most of the work that we would like to do with sidewalks. That's the only thing we can do is do handicap ramps and those bumpy pads on intersections. And that money has diminished considerably since we have allocated it previously, because we've already shifted money away from that once before, several years ago. So it's unfortunate this year we just were struck by a number of costly projects outside of this, and we don't have the money for sidewalks at this time. So with that, we'll hear to comment. Yes.
I don't have a comment. Well, I have a question. This money, do the homeowners themselves have to come ask for? I'm thinking of the one, Frost's old home. They could certainly use it to update that place.
Well, my understanding is that house has been sold.
I know, that's what I'm talking about,
Well,
those people.
this money, block grant money, is earmarked for low to mid income. So you have to qualify based on income, whether or not they do
I
or
don't know
don't.
people, so.
We have helped when Mrs. Frost was in there. We had helped her in the past, as we've helped many people actually in the village. So I don't know.
I don't know who they are, but I'm thinking
Well,
they'll
we
be a
can't,
crime.
let me put it this way in terms of the context of this hearing. We can't use the money we currently have allocated to do that for anybody. So we have to change the money from removing architectural barriers to the minor home repair program in order to help anybody. We have no money in minor home repair, and we won't get any more until maybe late November or December. So that's too long to wait to get the things done if somebody has an emergency. And like we have one senior that we've already authorized tree removal for. So we can't do that until we have money in that account. So, anybody else have a comment? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to ask for the council to close the public hearing and open the regular meeting by roll call vote. So is there a motion to that effect?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public meeting and open the regular meeting.
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, if there are no questions, could we have a roll call on that, please?
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. We've held the public hearing. Thank you for your comments. And we'll move on now to new business. First item of business is a recognition resolution. And I put it on the agenda as trustee, but actually, there's two resolutions. As the council is familiar, Char's been a longtime trustee since March of 1991, which puts her a little over 30 years. And her husband, Dan, has been an active member of the Park and Recreation Commission as well since its inception. So, on behalf of the village council, I would like to have the council adopt by motion first the resolution for Trustee Sotheby, which reads, the Leonard Village Council does hereby declare and resolve, whereas the Village of Leonard and its residents desire to recognize and express appreciation to Village Trustee Charlene Sotheby for her citizenship and involvement in the Village of Leonard Council as a village trustee, and whereas the Village of Leonard and the residents wish to recognize her contributions of service to the village in support of village activities, representing the village on Oxford-Addison Cable Commission, Historical Committee, and Festival Committee, and lend its support and encouragement to Mrs. Sotheby upon her leaving office for her continued health, happiness, and future endeavors. Therefore, be it resolved that the Village Council for the Village of Leonard hereby recognizes and congratulates Village Trustee Charlene Sotheby for her efforts on behalf of the residents of the Village of Leonard, and recognizes her many years as an active and involved citizen and representative of the Village of Leonard, and hereby declares and recognizes her service as a village trustee for 30 years, commencing on March 26, 1991, as well as the accomplishments and service during that time to the Village of Leonard and its residents, and expresses a sincere thank you and best wishes for the future. And then Char has not yet left the council, but that doesn't mean we can't honor and respect her at this time. Because she assures me that she does intend to leave the council. So, council, what is your pleasure on that resolution?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution as
Okay.
you just stated. I don't even know where to go with that.
No, that's
I would like to second
okay.
that motion.
Motion by Trustee Swax, second by Trustee Arundel to approve the motion for recognition for Trustee Sotheby. Are there any questions on the motion?
Can we have a round of applause? Okay, so we can have all in favor of the motion then, and I'm asking for everybody to support it. Motion to approve the trustee recognition resolution for Trustee Sotheby. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, motion passed unanimously. The second resolution, and I don't think Dan was aware of this. Otherwise, I should have specifically invited him, but didn't.
You probably wouldn't come.
But I have a similar resolution for Dan that recognizes him for his support to the Park and Recreation Committee. And Dan's been a go-to guy around here for a number of years, serving on the Township Fire Department and a lot of different activities. The council, I would ask the council to declare and recognize his service as a Village Park and Recreation Committee member, as well as the accomplishments and service during that time to the Village of Leonard and its residents, and express a sincere thank you and best wishes for his future as well. So is there a motion to that effect?
I would like to motion everything that you said towards me.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Trustee Arundel, second by Trustee Swack, to approve the motion recognizing Daniel Sotheby for his contributions to the Village of Leonard as a Park and Recreation Committee member. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion carried. And I'll express thanks to Dan when I see him, but
May I
thank you,
say
Shar.
thank you for that?
Yeah, of course. Okay, moving on then to the second item of business. Discussion has been going on for some time about updating and keeping our codes current in the current state of affairs. And our attorneys have been reviewing things and have suggested that if the council is concerned about the type of development and the different uses that we have in the village, that we should consider further regulation. They're not big changes, but they're regarding off-premises alcohol license revisions. And essentially that means that we currently have 2 licenses in the village, and how many in the future do we want to see? So the attorneys and I recommend that we go to the Planning Commission and ask them to review that particular part of our zoning ordinance, and that the thinking was and is that 4 licenses should be a maximum for handling a square mile of the village. I think it has a certain bearing on how the village is perceived, both visually, like having party stores, 4 party stores, or 4 establishments. How many do you need for a community that's, 400 people? We serve outside our community, but our primary interest is the community itself and how these types of uses affect us. So the 2 major considerations are the number of them and where they would be located. And the recommendation is, and I think rightfully so, that they be kept on the main streets, which would be Forest Street and Elmwood Street, as far as future locations. So I'm asking for the council to make a motion to recommend to the Planning Commission that they visit this portion of the zoning ordinance and hold a public hearing and meet on it as soon as practical. So, are there any questions on this from the council? Concerns? We'll have plenty of opportunity to review this further once the Planning Commission gets into it. So. Anybody else? Questions? Leslie, we can talk about it once we get into this. Okay, so I'm asking now then, is there a motion to direct the Village of Leonard Planning Commission to review the zoning ordinances on off-premises alcohol regulations?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, a motion by Trustee Sotheby, second by Trustee Swack, to direct the Planning Commission to review the zoning ordinances and look at the off-premises alcohol revisions to that ordinances. Okay. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Thank you. All right. Council also should have received from me the communication from our village attorney regarding the Consumers Power franchise agreement. And he recommended it be approved. He did make a couple of changes that give the village a slightly more effective voice if there are any changes or anything happens. So I am recommending at this time that the village adopt this ordinance as number 1.009. And that we will publish adoption at the appropriate time. This is a 30-year franchise to consumers to basically continue to distribute power, gas, underground gas throughout the village. I think it expires at the end of October. There's really nothing unusual in it that requires any more than minimal participation on our part. Let's put it that way. A lot of the right-of-ways are covered by the Metro Act of Michigan, so since they generally operate in the right-of-ways or on people's individual private property, there's really not much village involvement in it at all. So I recommend that the council approve this ordinance. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance update 1.009.
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Kennedy, second by Trustee Airedale, to approve the Consumers Energy franchise renewal as submitted. Are there any questions on the motion? If none, can we have a roll call vote, please, for approval?
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes. Okay, very good, thank you. Next item on new business should be the block grant reallocation. The council heard public comment at a public hearing earlier. I am recommending that we reallocate the entire amount of $5,000, not because it's all going to be spent right now, but it is an emergency. Basically, it's an emergency fund that when you need money, you need it then, not after going through a reallocation program. So I know we can spend this money in the next 2-3 years regardless. So probably sooner than later. Hopefully it'll help people as was suggested earlier. So I'm recommending and ask your support to reallocate the money in the amount of $5,000 from the Remove Architectural Barriers program to the Minor Home Repair program.
So you're making the motion?
I'm recommending,
that we-
but I will make the motion if nobody else does.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Trustee Sotheby, a second by Trustee Kennedy to authorize the reprogramming or reallocation of $5,000 from removing architectural barriers to the Minor Home Repair Community Development Block Grant Program. Are there any questions on the motion? Okay, hearing none, we have a roll call vote to make that reallocation.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And finally, for new business, received a communication asking the village to support in September the National Recovery Month and National Suicide Prevention Month. So this is basically an annual event. Would the council want the resolution read, or can we waive reading and proceed to voting to approve it?
I think we can waive the reading.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution as it's written on the piece of paper over there.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Trustee Kennedy, second by Trustee Swack to approve the resolution for National Recovery Month, September 2021. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to support the National Recovery Month resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, the resolution is adopted. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to old business, I just wanted to inform the council that Leonard Mill, the foundation is about 95% complete. There's some glass block to be put in into the foundation with a small vent so that some air can get into the basement. Other than that, I haven't got a bill yet, so that's yet to come. But it's good progress, especially I want to say that workers, they work without electricity. I mean, they brought a generator and ran a generator because Lapeer still isn't hooking up new power lines due to storm damage. So,
Can I ask a question about the mill? I just noticed in this treasurer's report that there's quite a bit of money for the mill. Did we get a good donation?
no, there's been quite a bit of money in there for some time.
I just think that's great because I can't wait to see the bill for it, so.
Right.
I do have another item for old business, but.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm done. That's basically
Do we have any updates on the roof? I know the rain's been particularly heavy lately.
first 2 weeks of October. That's the best they can do. Yeah, I've been kind of hounding them for a couple weeks trying to get a date. He finally said it would be the first or second week.
Sure.
Okay. For DPW, I hadn't put anything on normally we don't have much to do,
For DPW.
but I'd like to suggest that the council consider the purchase of a work platform for the tractor and a counterweight box for the tractor. I've had an opportunity to operate it a bit lately, and some of that, the salt and the gravel it's at maximum capacity. It gets so light on the rear that it's actually, I found it rather disturbing to try and, you have to take less than a bucket full for fear of getting a little too tippy. Don is used to it, but he does everything really slow because of it. And I'm not saying we need to speed things up, I'm just saying that you really have to be conscious of it. So the counterweight box is probably about $350, and the work platform I haven't looked into yet. But I bring that up because that might be a possible solution for getting some painting done and stuff on poles and putting up Christmas decorations, is if we get a platform that we can put on a tractor that's OSHA approved, then we no longer are working from ladders or hiring someone else to come do it for us, which is, as we all know, that's an expense if we can avoid it. This would be a one-time expense and it would be practical. So I'm throwing it out there just so that you know what I anticipate us trying to do. Okay? All right. And why I want to do it.
Also for DPW, did we get any update on the crack ceiling?
Yes, any day. That's what I keep getting. They keep saying it's a one-day job to come out here and do our streets. So they just have to find one day to do it. But yeah, I spoke with them. Actually, I exchanged emails a week ago. So
Does it have to be dry weather to do it?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course. So, okay. For my report as village president, we did receive one FOIA request. It was answered and responded to. I did not require the FOIA form to be filled out. To my understanding, it's not a requirement that you have to. But if somebody wants to submit a written one, we can require that they do so on our form. It was in regards to some data on realty or something like that. And we didn't have anything that they wanted, so we had no response from them. And then my second item was that the roofs are supposed to be done in the first half of October. And same with Forest Street and West Elmwood. So anytime, I guess, is the way that's going to be. Okay, so that's all I have. As far as the tree situation goes, as soon as we get the allocation approved by block grant, all of the tree guys that we talked to didn't want to do them separate. They're not going to come to the village for one job. They want to do them both the same day. So that's why it hasn't been accomplished yet, the tree work that we approved last month. So hopefully with the approval here, I'll get authorization from block grant to spend the money, and then we'll get it done. Okay?
Which trees?
There's 2 maple trees east of the United Methodist Church on the south side of Elmwood. And we have a senior citizen that has a couple dead trees on the front yard on West Street. And those are the ones that are covered by block grant. The other trees are village right-of-ways. They're on the village right-of-way, so we're responsible for them.
And where are those?
Those are the ones down by the church.
Oh,
Okay. All right, moving on to the trustee committee reports. I don't think we have anything from the summer festival committee there. I don't think they're going to meet for the next couple months, from what if my memory serves me. Cable commission, was there anything there? Nothing there. Decorating committee?
Yes, I'll be sending an update on some dates that we're gonna look at, definitely for fall, and for winter, when we'll do the tree lighting, and the day that, like I said, we'll clean up the Christmas lights and stuff. And that way, hopefully, we can plan on getting up the Christmas banners at that time. Speaking of that, with the decorating committee, we've talked about doing a few things to help bring in more people for the tree lighting, bringing in music. So I'm waiting, just so you know, for the cost of that. And then also doing a gingerbread contest for the kids. So that way they could set up in here, bring in their made up gingerbread homes, and then everyone can vote on them.
Oh, that's
while they're here for the tree decorating. So adding a few more additional things this year. I do need to ask for some monies for the fall decorating, and I can do it for the winter decorating all together. But probably we're looking at, with the party and the fall decorations and the Christmas stuff, probably close to $500.
Well, I think we should probably have some kind of budget to look at, like what the amounts will be and for what purpose.
Well, we've got to do all the planners and change those around, so we're talking probably $25 a planner. It depends, Mike, to be honest, and where we can get any type of donations from. So I'm giving you rough estimates from years past when we did the, from, Christmas plates to cookies, it really depends. We're gonna go after donations. But
That's great, I'm glad to hear that, because
But
as you know,
without,
we've
I'm just telling you, we're trying to budget, and $500 is not a lot when it comes to decorating for the fall, the Christmas, and trying to put on the Christmas tree lighting party.
Well, fortunately, that's not my call, that's the village council's call, so.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
What's in the budget?
That's what I was just looking for.
I think the budget still has,
Under general. The top half.
For the general? No.
Yeah, general.
Yeah. I think there, it says we've got 600 in labor available. I assume we have, that's accurate. And we've got 2484.56 spent. So there's almost $500 in beautification remaining. If I'm looking at this. But donations would certainly be appreciated and helpful to get this done. You don't need a specific approval now?
I just want to know that we're going to try, but that we could have up to that amount. Is what I'm looking for. Just so I don't have to come back to you guys in November. I'm just trying to plan out now because the decorations are starting to come out. So by having conversations with the different places I'm going to go to, that they say no, that at least I know what we have.
Okay.
Because in the past, I thought people said that they were going to donate, and when I pulled up to the register, there was nothing.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. It was cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Well, okay,
So I just want to have it and to know that it's there. So I'm looking for a motion to cover us for the fall and winter.
is there a motion to authorize not to exceed something like that? What does the council, how does the council feel about that? Not to exceed $500? Or, I'm concerned, I know a tree can cost $150.
We're looking for that to be donated again. And this time too, I have some donation trees already
Okay.
that we're going to use around town to decorate.
Oh, the artificial ones.
Yeah, and try and get the school to come in and decorate those.
Okay. Well, how much do you think you need right now for the fall, let's say, at this point?
Maybe $100.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize up to $100 for now
You
until.
sure that's enough, Jennifer?
I just don't want to keep coming back to you guys.
Right.
I mean, that's why I just want it done, that's why I'm asking for the whole motion to be done. Just cover me for, be done with, yes, Judy. I just want to be done with it.
Just be done with it.
And that way I can allocate it and I know the budget and this is what I got for the fall and this is what I have
Right.
for the winter.
Well, I personally would be comfortable with $250. And if you have to get more money for winter, we could do that when we're at the October meeting. I know you don't want to do it again, but I think we'd all be more comfortable seeing where that money's going to get, how much and where it's going to be spent. What's council's thoughts on that? Alex, you didn't have a second on your motion, but we can proceed with it, or
I'll withdraw my motion at this point for
$100.
if somebody else wants to make another motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion for $250 for fall.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion from Trustee Kennedy, from Trustee Sotheby, and a second by Trustee Swack for $250 for fall decorations for the decorating committee. Are there any questions on the motion? Okay, do we have a roll call vote on that, since it's a monetary item?
Mrs. Arundel,
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy,
Yes.
President McDonald,
Yes.
Mrs. Swax,
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carried. Thank you, Jennifer.
I have a question too with the decorating, because I know that we've spent a lot of time on the hall and stuff. What's the status of the cleaning? Do we hire a cleaning? Sorry, I wasn't here
Well,
last.
no, I thought that, Mrs. Olson has been continuing, I had been left with the impression that you were going to speak with,
You were going to speak with them because you guys said that you were gonna set it up, since you knew your schedule better than I did here. That's what was set up.
okay, well then, I didn't remember it that way, so we'll get on that.
I mean, I can call them, I just don't know when you want the cleaning to be done, or schedule-wise.
Well, basically, when the village offices are open would be the best time. I'm reluctant to hand keys out, you know.
No, I'm not, okay.
I think in all fairness, since how you pay by the month, you should schedule it for next month, because I don't know what's been done for this month, but I think that it would be best if you have 1 month included before you start a cleaning service. And the person who's regularly cleaning should be notified that.
Oh,
it is that
absolutely,
month.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you want to,
I'll contact them, yep.
okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, okay, so that handles the decorating committee and maintenance questions for Roman Hall.
Oh, wait, no, I have another additional question for Roland House. I think that I apologize, everyone. What's with getting heat into the hallway?
I
And
have
again, I
not,
apologize because I was
Yeah.
not here last meeting.
I had hoped to have an answer for you, but I haven't found the HVAC contractor that wants to do it because of the location of the electrical and everything on that wall. And I'm wondering if it's possible to bore a hole, because they think it's brick there, that is around there, so it's not like a matter of just punching a hole through drywall. It's turned into quite a large job.
So what you're saying is this wall right here is brick.
Right.
Are you trying to keep the heat in the hallway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a way to vent this door?
Pardon?
Is there a way to vent this door to allow?
We gotta have to change the door. I'm not sure that actually that would provide enough circulation to really make a difference
It would
out
have to
there.
be like upstairs also.
Yeah.
I wonder if we put a fan in upstairs
To push heat down.
to push the heat down.
Well, there's no heat in that hallway up there either.
But I'm just trying to circulate the air, and if we kept this door open,
Okay.
I'm just saying for the winter, because if not, if we close that up, what's gonna happen is
Yeah.
all that plaster work that we just had nicely repaired
Right.
is all gonna crack again.
I'm
So there's gotta be a way to get the heat there.
gonna ask our HVAC inspector to come and see if he's got a way that we can either get it vented or whatever. He might have a suggestion. I should have done this sooner, but
I mean, you could cut into the door that's here, and you could make it,
I think the best suggestion is let's get a hold of our HVAC inspector and let him come up with a recommendation how we can do this.
and then it'll be a matter of budget. I think it's gonna be a big job to do that. Unless, but I don't know that. It just, I would have tackled it myself if it would have been drywall, and studs. But it's got wiring, all the wiring for the building is on that wall. So it's gonna be a bit of a job, I think.
Would a door like that move heat out of this room into that room?
We keep it pretty cool here, but it would help. I don't know that it would be the answer though. I really think you need forced air if you're gonna effectively do anything in that area. It doesn't have to be a big vent, but I think you have to make it warm enough to do it. But let me talk to the inspector and we'll do that. I didn't anticipate that it would turn into a job. The first guy that looked at it said it was a big job, so.
is it easier just to run a small little heater there for right now until,
You mean like a floor, electrical heater?
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible, but that would be incredibly expensive. I mean, to run
Well, I think it would be-
24/7
It
throughout the
would be an
week.
insurance issue
Yeah.
too, I think,
Yeah.
because it's unattended.
Okay, I'll work on it. See what I can get done. Okay. All right, moving on then. For the North Oakland Transportation Authority, it looks like NODA is going to go the route of becoming an Act 196 authority, which means that it's driven by the fact that the Regional Transit Authority is definitely making a comeback in an attempt to get a millage or levy a millage and have the service would be no better than it was previously as far as the northern part of Oakland County. They're talking about that they would funnel some of that money back, but there's no guarantees. The NODA director, Lynn Gustafson, has been investigating it, and in fact, the Western Oakland County Transportation Authority is already moving forward to become an Act 196. And the reason is that when you are an Act 196 Transit Authority, you have a seat at the table for all of the funding that comes down from federal. The money we get right now comes through SMART. We don't get it directly. We apply through SMART, and then if the grants are given, then, and most of them are, that money funnels to us. But if we become an independent transit authority, then we would get a block allocation. Plus, we have a seat at the table even if the Regional Transit Authority pushes through and is successful in getting a millage levy. But we want to be at that table when that discussion occurs to try and curtail. I think the maximum they can ask for in levy is 5 mills. So it's a big decision. And I think previously I objected to it. I didn't see the necessity because the townships and the villages support the NODA directly, but as well as with the quarter mil that we all pay. But with this change, politically and transportation-wise, it's a game changer. It's just going to change things. So, just an update that we'll be seeing that coming. And we did have a new budget adopted. The millage rates are a little lower due to Headley for Addison, Orion, and Oxford. And I want to thank Trustee Kennedy because I wasn't able to get to the last NODA meeting, and he stepped in and we got things done there. The village was represented, so appreciate it. It's a hard thing to come in the middle of something like that, as you all know. Okay, Planning Commission, we gave them a job. Do you think you want to meet this month, or?
Yes, because we can't meet in October.
Okay.
So I just need to know when we would be reviewing it. Do we have to schedule a public hearing then?
Yeah, I would ask.
So that wouldn't be able to be until November if we had it at a regular meeting or a special meeting in the late October.
Right. I don't know that there's any pressure to have a special meeting.
Okay.
As long as the Planning Commission sets the date ASAP at their next meeting and does it. You are meeting in October or no?
No, we're not. We're meeting in September and November.
Okay.
So we just have to put it on the agenda for November?
Or we
Yeah,
have
I'll tell you what, I'll check with the attorney
Okay.
and see what time
Can we
frame.
just make it a special meeting in November to cover both the
It could
regular
be
and the special
the
at the same
last
time?
week in October, but we just can't meet, I'm gone for 2 weeks in
I mean,
October.
just lump them into one. Can we just do a special meeting in November with that on the ballot?
Well, you're gonna have a regular November meeting anyways.
And a regular.
So Leslie's suggesting that the last week of October,
We could have a
we
special
should have a
meeting,
special meeting.
or change our meeting to that date, but I don't know, we have to publish the notice for that.
But yeah, for the public hearing.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you have enough time, after we just have something in the area,
Well, let me run it
by the attorney.
by the attorney and I'll get back with you.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Pollyant Trail, trailhead's looking really good. We put up new fence this weekend. We've had so many volunteers from the village out there working on things. It's really looking nice.
It does look nice.
Yeah, and we have a lot of people to thank for it. It's really been good.
The parking.
Okay. I heard something. That's okay.
No, it's, I think you mentioned, where's the park, where was the fence put up, was the question?
It was replaced really
Oh,
along the exit from the.
She did a fine job patching that nasty hole too. Linda did.
Oh, good. Okay. Moving on.
I think it's confusing, Mike, when there's conversation here and conversation here, and we're not all brought in on what the conversation is.
Right.
And my understanding is that if they want to speak, they have to get recognition from you, Mr. President.
You're absolutely right. I'm trying not to be formal, as long as we can keep the meeting moving.
I understand, but I'm looking around and the rest of us are confused
Yeah, because
as to what the rest of you
there
are
was
discussing.
discussion about a tent and then a pole and what the hell happened here?
I apologize.
So in other words, we're not supposed to talk out here, is that it?
Correct.
Right.
raise our hand.
Raise your hand.
I
That's
guess-
all you do.
I'm just talking to her.
I know, but it's confusing to,
Okay, we're just not going to get sidetracked on that. Just out of a sense of courtesy and politeness to everybody, if you have a comment you'd like to make, and we're being very lenient to do that, we ask that you raise your hand. Or when I ask if there's any comments on the motion or whatever, that would be the appropriate time to make a comment. Okay, Village Park. I don't think we have anything going on, do we?
we probably should, but we don't.
Well, we need to get ready for winter, that's for sure. Okay,
And you know, Mike doesn't come because he can't hear,
Right.
here, but he is still, plans to be active.
okay. Yeah, I think we should, I'll have to get the benches and stuff and all that collected up. See if we can do that this year. Okay, the council has received the monthly report for the Community Development Block Grant. Beyond that, I did receive notification under correspondence that AT&T has given up its landline subscriptions for the internet, and it is now belongs to DirecTV, which I believe is a subsidiary of them, isn't it? So we were not asked if we were for it or against it, we were just told they did it. So we got official notification that DirecTV now controls that part of the cable business that was formerly AT&T. Beyond that, I have no further business. Any of the council members have anything?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have motion by Trustee Sutherby, second by Trustee Kennedy. Are there any questions on the motion to adjourn? Does anyone want to stay longer? No? Okay. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. All right, thank you everybody for your attendance.